Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, as per your respective time zone. On behalf of entire Evosys Managed Service System, we'd like to welcome you all to 22B PPM Advisory Webinar session. This important session is to keep you fully synchronized with the new features and functionalities as a part of this quarter release which Oracle provides. My name is Hardik Patel and I'm an Operations Manager here at Evosys Managed Services team. Today I'm your host for this session. I'm glad to introduce my colleague Anuj Jain, who is part of our vast finance team at Evosys. Today, he'll take us through all the project portfolio management updates for 22B quarter release. Let's have a quickly look at the important disclaimer, as you can see on your screen. Today's session is planned for around 45 minutes, so we'll make sure we also leave some time to answer if you have any question at the later stage as well. And we would like to convey your approach towards Oracle updates in a very simple method. We'll be taking you through vital analysis for the 22B updates done by our experts, which will help you incorporate new features and updates easily into your system. We will also sync you on any bugs or known issues if there are any. It's good to have an interactive session, so please do ask any questions you may have, and we'll try and answer them by the end of this session. This is to give you a glimpse on how we have crafted the structure of this session. So first thing what you see is the list of new features coming into 22B, detailing on features, so you get brief understanding on what new features are all about. The next one is what we have as a business benefit, an important takeaway for you as a decision maker. There are important 4 components where we have done in-depth analysis of the features which we're going to present to you today. The first one is impact level analysis, which demonstrate the impact on the end user. If it's a low impact, then regression testing can be avoided or not. If it's a high impact, then we need to operate some testing. The second one, which is we all are aware that there are some features which are by default auto-enabled by Oracle, and there are some which we need to opt for. And the third one highlights the nature of the feature. There would be certain configurations which may be required and some can be used without any changes. And the last one, which is a quick win. This term we use to simply convey that what is easy to use by investing minimum amount of time and what requires significant amount of time and effort to make use of this feature. Before we hand it over to my colleague, on the quick scale, we'd like to note down the industry your organization belongs to. So if you can help us with the same, it will be great. This will help us crafting more contentful webinars going forward. So kind request to feed in your industry, please. With this, I'll be immediately handing over to my colleague after closing the poll to Anna Jane. He'll be taking you through today's session on PPM. So handing over to Anna now, unmute yourself and there's all yours.
Thank you, Hardik. Welcome everyone in the PPM webinar. So let's start with the new features been introduced in PPM in 22B. So in this feature, on and around 20 new features came in Cloud PPM. And you can see a quick bifurcations here that 6 are quite quick wins, 2 are again which we just need to enable the configurations, or I would say we need to opt in, and those features are ready to use, and 12 which are not quick win. A good level of configuration is required in it. So overall there are very good new features came in this particular release. Oracle really focused on some of the key pain areas, and many of the new features they picked from the Idea Lab. So just make sure that in future, if you are raising any issues, you can raise it as an idea. And generally, we are seeing a good interaction there, and Oracle picking some of the highest voted ideas into their new features. So just hold your seats, because this time of some of the features which require configurations are really good features and very much demanded. So Oracle come up with those features in this particular release. So Let's go ahead and see all these 20 features in the upcoming slides. So the first we are going to cover the quick wins, which require no configurations and can be used once the instance will be upgraded to the 22B. The first is easier entry of invoice comments. So invoice comment, it's related to the project billing. So previously also the comment feature was available, but many customer used to give a feedback that we can enter a comment, but there was a no functionality wherein they can enter the comment as a bullet points, like 3 4 as a pointer, and the comment more come as a straight text, I would say, which is sometime looks like a haphazard. And if they need to enter some bullet points, so that particular feature was not available. But this, so now they have improved the invoice comment area itself. They converted it into the text area, and there you can enter more like a bullet pointers when you are entering any comments. So of course this will help the business, uh, that approvers can take easy decision to approve or reject the invoice looking at those comments. And again, this can be printed into the invoice prints for easy communications with the customers. So this is a feature which has been came in 22B. Second is, this is one of the good feature been introduced in the 22B, is that previously what used to happen, that let's take an example. If your project costs are going into exception, so of course you can see into the manage project cost area. Okay, so you can see that what all cost is lying under exception. Maybe if the task is end dated or due to budgetary control. So many costs won't become the part of project cost, but it shows as an exception that okay, this is you need to clear the exception, so those so that those costs can be part of a project cost. So this can be seen into the manage project cost section. But now they introduce the same thing in the OTBI also as a subject area under the subject area itself. So now what business are going to do is that they will build a report using this subject area itself. So, and they can keep such reports on their home page. So on daily basis they can see that okay, what all costs are lying into exception, and they can take the quick actions on it, clear the exception, so it could be part of project cost. So again, those exception was there. Just the thing that they did is they bring it into the OTBI, the in the reporting tool itself, so the reports can be prepared. And further, the exception analysis can be done, that what are the highest type of exceptions we are facing in our business. And uh, if there are some controls can be made there, or we can bring certain control in the business to avoid happening of such exception in the future. So that's why they introduced this in the subject area itself, so the reports can be prepared and those error analysis or exception analysis can be made. Third feature, deep link. So uh, this is again related to the OTBI tool, and one of the demanded feature that right now if you prepare any report using the OTBI reporting tool, so there is a no deep link feature is available, mainly like in the contract case. So now of course the business needs a drill down, so they can navigate to the UI page itself uh, based on the report. So when they are going through any report, and for that particular report, for a particular contract or particular project that they want to open, so previously they, for that they need to go into the normal screens, they need to search for the contract and then only they can open it. But now in the OTBI they come up with the deep link feature, which is again there, but it was not available for the contracts. So they came up with the contract also. So now in the contract, if you have prepared any report and you want to open the report directly through the contract, as you can see in my screenshot here, so you can link on that hyperlink of contract number and it will open that particular contract. So of course it will save lot of time if you want to do a drill down and want to see some additional information at the contract level. Okay. So, and again, same type of deep links can be provided even in your emails or in the notification. So the person who is going through that email, they can directly click on the link and open the contract if they need to take any approval, rejections, kind of actions. Fourth feature, carry forward open purchase order for the project based PO. So this feature is bit related to the financials. So what used to happen? So now in my purchase order can be of two type. One is of project backed purchase order, and second is non-project backed, in which the project information is not there. Now previously, before this release, what used to happen? System used to transfer the purchase order from the old fiscal year to the new fiscal year, but it used to transfer only those POs which were non project backed, means in which the project information is not there. They not System was not transferring the project backed PO. Okay. From this release itself, what so now the project back PO as well as non-project back PO both can be transferred from old fiscal year to the new fiscal year. But this is more important for the companies who are using GL budget feature, and they also defining the budget in GL for their project based transaction. So for them it is necessary that they have to transfer their PO's commitment from old fiscal year to the new fiscal year. So in new fiscal year those commitment can reserve the budgets. So this is a few new feature that been introduced in the current 22B release. So of course, this will bring more better budgetary control and more correct information between my budget versus commitment versus actual type of reporting. This feature is related to the project execution management. So in project execution management, companies who are using work item related features, typical under the product development type of companies. Okay. So the major change that they did here is they have improved the user UI for the manage work item. So in the manage work item screen, now you can see the deliverables, change orders, everything through the manage work item screen itself. Previously, there was a different navigations to access all those, but now everything can be seen through the work item page itself. So this is mainly a feature as a part of the project execution management, and they have basically improved the UI. So nothing new in the feature. It's more around that you will be able to access multiple things through the single screen itself. This feature is related to the grant management. Uh, uh, so in grant management, you can create a contract. So previously, our customers who are using grant management, they used to complain that whenever they are amending a contract, which result into creation of new version, so there was no field of version description. So it was not there. And because of that, whenever they are amending any contract and if they want to record the reason of that amendment, okay, so there was no field for it. But now they come up with the field contract version description. So whenever they are amending the contract, they can enter the description, which will give them the audit trail, I would say, or a tracking that when the contract is amended and why it is amended. So the why part was missing previously because this field itself was not exist, but now it's there. And of course, this will help further the approvers to take the approve and reject decision for the new amendment contract after going through the description. So this is specific to the grant management feature, because in the project billing contract management, this feature is itself already is there. Now we'll talk about the quick wins again, but for which we need to opt in or you need to enable the offerings. So we'll talk about those feature. So this is, I would say, one of the most important feature and one of the most demanded feature Oracle came up with. In previous release, what used to happen, let's take an example. If you are pushing the invoice from the project to AR module, and the ship to information which is there in that particular invoice which you are pushing into AR, let's take an example. The invoice got rejected when you are transferring it into AR because ship to information uh, was invalid. Might be that ship to information of the customer is inactive into the customer master. So previously what user needs to do in that case is they need to coordinate with the finance team, and they need to ask that, can you please active this ship to account because I want to push this invoice. Because previously if the invoice is in the transferred state, so system was not allowing you to change the ship to account number. So this, as you can see into the screen, previously the ship to account was freezed when the invoice is in the released or transferred state. You can't change it. But now the system gives you the flexibility if you are pushing the invoice into the AR, and might be because of the ship to account as it's inactive in the customer master. So you can change the ship to. So it gives you the flexibility to change it. So rather than coordinating with the finance team and then asking them to activate the inactive ship to account, sometimes it creates a complexity, because it might result into that somebody will book wrong or manually punch the invoice directly into AR with wrong ship to information. So even finance team was not easy to to active such inactive ship to accounts. But now you can directly select at the invoice level the right ship to account which is active, and then you can again push back the invoice into AR. So this will again reduce the cycle time, and you can faster process your invoices, which previously they need to wait. The project billing specialists need to wait till the time they won't active the ship to account into the customer master. So a good feature, and one of the most demanded feature which been incorporated now. The next opt-in feature is related to the resource management. So again, this is something we receive a feedback from our multiple customer, that when the project manager is requesting for any resource, when they are raising a resource request, sometimes they are looking for a flexibility that as and when we request for a resource, at the same time system should allow us to plan that resource against the project. Previously what used to happen, that when the project manager is submitting a resource request by mentioning the resource name to the resource manager, till the time resource manager is not approving it, the project manager was not having the capability to plan that resource against the task, because the resource is not yet assigned to the project, but it is yet to be approved by the resource manager. But now they come up with certain flexibility here, because many time project manager know that when whatever resource they are requesting for, it will get approved. So they don't want to wait that till the time resource manager is approved, then only they will plan. So but that flexibility was not does not exist in the initial releases. But now this flexibility is there, and resource manager, the project manager can plan the resource even if they have requested for the resource then also. But of course it is not applicable for all type of industry, so that's why it's been came as a quick win opt-in feature. So if somebody want that once the resource manager approved, then only they should be able to plan. So for those type of customer, no need to enable this feature, but for others, yes, they can enable it and use it. Now we'll talk about the features which are not quick wins, uh, basically which require a configurations. So we'll talk about those. In that, this is again, I would say, most important, and almost we received the feedback from all of our customer for this feature, mainly the companies who are extensively using the time card, the Oracle time card. So previously what used to happen, let's take an example. One employee has submitted the time card, and now after 1 month down the line, they want to amend that time card due to some XYZ reason. So when they amend the time card, might be they amend it for one particular date only. In a whole week, they are amending the time card for one particular date. And when they submit, system used to validate all the entry for that particular week. Okay. So if 1 month down the line, if particular project is closed, okay, and the employee is amending the line for any other project, but when they submit it, system validate for all, and system will give you the error that this project is already closed. But ideally it's not required, because the employee is amending the time card for another day which is not linked to that project. Okay. But now what happened in this particular release, now they come up with a feature as that system will only do the validation wherever the employee is making change. It won't validate the whole time card for the whole week. So if you have made the changes at one place, so it will validate only that one place. Rest will remain as it is, and for that validation won't work, because for that validation already happened when you have submitted the timesheet previously 1 month back. Okay. So now again it don't require a validation again, because at that time scenario might change, and 1 month back if they have charged the time on any particular project which is closed now, so system will give you the error for that also, which is not required because those entries already been moved to project. Okay. So this is, I think, a very uh, uh, normal, I would say, scenario which we have seen in all type of industries which are extensively using the OTL. So this will help them really, and now they can, through a profile option, they can enable this functionality, which will really help the to more faster processing of amended time card. Okay. So no need to further uh, uh, no need to further hesitation required to amend the time card, because now the validation will happen if you enable the profile option only on the lines which will be changed. Configure approval notification for adjustment to project cost. So this again is related to the adjustment of the project cost. So we all know that we can do the adjustment into the projects module in the cost. So I can transfer the cost from one project to another project. And we also know that from a many release, the approval is also there if you want to have a approval. But one thing which was not there is that suppose if you want to change the layout of the approval notifications, because many time business is having a requirement that approver should see this information when they are approving the cost adjustment approval, like it is available in other approvals like project approval. You can decide your own layout and same can be configured, but this thing was not available in the adjustment project cost. So there was one standard template was there of Oracle defined, which can be used, and approver can see only that particular information. But now they bring that you can even configure the approval notification, that what all information should be visible in it. So approver can take the sound decision after going through that information. So now this feature is available, and you can configure the approvals notification related to the cost adjustment based on the business requirement. Next, or I think one of the, I won't say it's a feature, it's altogether a new a big functionality itself been introduced related to the program management, which was there into the Oracle EBS. It was there, and now they come up with the same functionality in the Fusion Cloud, but it is, I think, somewhat different what was there in the EBS. So now, previously before 22B, now this was one of the requirement, at least from all the clients, that they want to create the program or they want to create their own portfolio into the project module, and they want to evaluate the KPIs at the portfolio level. that what is my budget versus actual at the program level or at the portfolio level, or what is my average margins at the program or portfolio level. So this functionality was not there. Means there is a no straight functionality was available for it. Okay, but now this been introduced in the 22B, that you can create your own programs or a portfolio. You can link your project with those portfolio, and you can link your program with certain KPIs, and the system will give you the information of those KPI at the program as well as at the project level. So you can decide, how the overall program is going, and accordingly you can decide the KPIs of your program managers or the portfolio managers. So this is one of the fantastic feature, I would say, been introduced now in the PPM, which was uh, demanded by almost all the clients during their implementation stage itself. So now it's there that you can create the programs and portfolios, and you can evaluate the KPIs at that level. Of course, it requires some extensive configurations, but after those configuration, all things, all KPIs can be achieved at the program level. In fact, they came up with one new OTBI report itself for the at the program management level. So I would say good feature. Project billing. Uh, so this particular feature related to the project billing, in that itself, it is more related to the revenue recognition. Okay. Uh, so in revenue recognition, we know that previously also the feature was available that you can design your own formula to recognize the revenue, because right now the companies are having so much, extensive formulas to derive the revenue, as they are using IFRS or ASC 606 revenue guidelines. Uh, so to achieve that IFRS 15 or 606 revenue guidelines, of course, it require more flexibility in the project process configurator. Like I should be able to write a formula that whatever my labor is spent is there, not my actual cost is spent, because actual cost consider labor as well as non-labor both. But I just want to consider my labor is spent to derive the revenue. So I can write at formula at such level also. Okay, so they introduce some more elements in the project process configurator, which can be used to derive my revenue. Okay, so this functionality already exists, but they come up with some more dynamics in it. Like they bring that now you can write a formula considering your budgets, cost, forecast, and derive your revenue uh, based on those formula. So this is the new thing which been introduced into the uh, from the revenue recognition point of view. This is related to the feature is related to the again the project billing, and in that mainly related to the DFFs, or I would say the additional information that now you can have, context sensitive DFF. So I think this mainly been used for the clients, who are using buy contract as well as sale contract, because for buy contract previously what used to happen, whatever the DFF that they are opening, so that was visible in both buy contract and sale contract, because system is for buy contract and sale contract, system use the same functionality of enterprise contract. So DFF used to see at both the level, in the buy contract also as well as sale contract. But suppose if my particular additional information is related to only related to the sale contract, then also previously it used to visible in the buy contract, but now they bring the feature of context, so you can segregate that. Okay, when you are defining the additional information itself, that okay, these are related to the buy contract and these are related to the sale contract, and accordingly it will be visible into the UI when somebody is creating a contract. So not a major change, but it's more around that, to bring this segregation into the DFF for the buy contract and the sale contract. This is again a good feature who are using project execution management as well as project financial management. So previously, what used to happen before 22B is that, let's take an example. You are changing task dates for the certain task in the project execution management. Then you need to run one program. And when you run that program, then the same dates also appear in your project financial plan, right? So basically you need to run one program as a manual intervention, so that at project execution plan and the project financial plan, both places dates remain in sync. But now through this feature, they have removed the dependency of that manual program. So as and when you will change the plan dates into your execution plan, then the same will be visible into the financial plan also. So they bring that sync, and they have removed the dependency of running that manual program. Now, this again, I would say a very good feature been introduced by the Oracle. So the feature basically is about uh, SLA accounting, and mainly related to corrections of it. So I'll just give you one example here. Previously, uh, before 22B, let's take an example. Somebody uploaded the cost into the project module through Excel, or maybe the cost is coming through OTL, or maybe through any other subledger. Okay, and if the SLA rule in the project is defined wrong, okay, so what system will do? System will create a wrong sub journal entry for it, and it will post to GL. Okay, and later once it posted to GL, then of course you will realize that your SLA rules are wrong and the wrong entry has been posted to GL. And then there is a no option apart from that. You might need to pass certain manual adjustment into the projects also, as well as into GL also, to make the correction, because then only your project to GL will reconcile. But now what they come up with, they have introduced one REST API. So through REST API, what you can do is you can mark that project cost again as not accounted. So once it's accounted and it's accounted wrongly, then what you can do through this REST API, you can mark that transaction again as unaccounted. So what system will do? System will recreate the accounting for it, uh, and of course you will modify the SLA before that. So system will post the right entries. So no need to pass so many manual adjustment into the project and into the GL. So using that REST API, what you can do, you can mark those transactions that it's require reaccounting. And once you will mark them and you will modify your SLA, and when you will rerun the create accounting, then what system will do? System will pass the right accounting into the GL again. So this is a good feature in such exceptional scenarios where this can be used. This again related to the, uh, I would say mainly can be used in the exceptional scenarios or in the integration scenario or from the data migrations or conversion strategy point of view. That now in the project classifications that we have in the project at the project template level, so we can update and delete them using a REST API. So previously, let's take an example, because we all know that when we copy the project, so classification and everything will get copied from the project template. And if in the project template, my classifications are incorrect, so I have to rectify it at the earliest. Okay. And previously there was a no mass update feature was available for it. Means there was a no REST API to update or delete the classification at the REST API level, at the project template level. So in such scenarios, sometime users team need to spend overnight to do such corrections. But now what happened? The REST APIs are available through which you can update and delete your classifications at the template level. And once you will correct it at the template level, then of course whatever new project will get created, that will be created with the correct information itself. So previously this REST APIs were not available, so they need to do it manually, which was very bulky process. And mainly in case of where, in case of data migrations, or some change org, in such case of scenarios. So now it is available and can be utilized. Now this feature is related to the resource management. Again, it is more linked with, if you are integrations point of view, if you want to feed the resource information in some other third party system. So previously, if you want to get the resource information using the REST API, so it was there, but it was very limited, and it used to give you very limited information when you used to use this get APIs, which used to give the information or to the third party. But now you can, you can get employee locations, their resume, everything using this REST API, and you can feed your third party system. Okay. If you have some integrations between for the resource management and might be any other third party system, so such integration can be built using the REST API. This also linked to the integration itself, and again related to the resource management. So this time they have focused on to bringing, to make resource management more flexible from the integration point of view. So again, if you want to feed the resource nominations, resource has worked on what all project, what's their role, how many hours they have worked on the different project, if such informations required to be fed into the third party system, okay, or resource request to be fed to the third party system, then in that particular case this REST API can be used to get that information from the Oracle project resource management and then feed it into the any third party system. So again, it will be more beneficial in case of we have any integration, or we are using any reports or something, so to get that information using the REST API itself. This feature is again related to integration only. So we all know that we can capture the physical person complete into the project level. So for that, REST API was already there, that you can capture the progress and you can publish the progress. For that, REST API is there, because many companies are having some different system to capture the progress, like Primavera or other project execution driven system. Okay, so they used to push that information from Primavera to project financial management. Okay, but in that particular REST API, of course, you can capture the progress, but there was no option to like delete the progress or capturing the progress at the resource level. So there was some flexibility was missing in the REST API, or related to the physical person complete, which they have modified into the current version to make it more flexible from the integrations point of view. And the final one is public event for the unplanned project cost. So again, for this, it is kind of a API that came in, that if you want to see all the unplanned resource on the financial project plan, so they come up with the public event through which you can extract all the unplanned resource on your particular plan, financial project plan, and then the project manager take the decision accordingly. So it is more I think beneficial for the project managers. If if project we want to notify the project manager that what all the unplanned cost is there on the project. Okay, so in such particular case, this public event can be used, which can push the information to project manager that okay, as of date you have this many number of unplanned cost into your project. So these are all features related to the 22B. Uh, of course, you can coordinate, or you can question now if you have any particular question related to the features there in the Fusion PPM. So we can discuss over it. Hardik, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Anai, for the wonderful and very detailed insights to all of our audience and customers. Um, so on the so while we check if there's any question, or we're more than happy to take it from you. You can write to us on the question or a chat panel. Meanwhile, if you can let us know on the screen, with the help of screen, that what is your area of interest, whether it's technology, innovation, managed services, or it's value-based analytics or cloud transformation, which can help us crafting more value-based webinars going forward. While we get your responses, we would like to keep you informed that we'll be sending you the HTML page where you'll find a link, a permanent link, where you'll find all the Evosys webinar, all the past ones, all the upcoming ones as well. And you can access, you'll find the PDF presentations of today's session. Also, you'll find the recording with the help of YouTube link there itself, so you can pass it to your colleagues and they can use it for the reference purpose. Um, we'll be closing the poll now. And as we can see, there are no further questions in the chat or question panel. And so we'd like to ask you a final question to you on how was the today's session in terms of how was your overall experience today in today's session, so that we can improve based on your feedback. And as Anna mentioned, if you need any one-to-one connect or if you have any question, even at a later stage, you can reach out to our dedicated project manager or a team leader or a consultant. We'll be happy to um, arrange a session for you or answer any questions you may have. So appreciate your feedback. Thank you so much. And so with this, we're ending our series of 22B with the last session of PPM today, and we'll work on the next 24 hours with the editing team, and we'll upload all the presentations there along with the recordings, and it'll be live for on the site on the USA site itself for you to use it. Thank you so much again, everyone, and we appreciate once again for your time today. Thank you so much.